Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We bring you stories of faith, love, and devotion. Yeah, just kidding, please help us grow by hitting that like button. Now on to the story. Mighty Neighbourly, my story. Progress. My story, I am quite the amateur writer, I struggle with brevity. I did write it all down in vivid detail. That was a long time ago. When reading my writings I feel bad for my past self. I was in such anguish. I don't care to relive the details. You all know the details, reading this sub. It's all there in other people's stories. So I'll cover my situation with as much brevity as I can. We moved into our first house, my wife and I, and started a family. Miscarriages, starting new careers made things really hard. We were blessed with a healthy baby boy. He started to show signs of development issues and things got rocky. I was in denial, but I was present. I was working to get him the help he needed. Meanwhile, the neighbor man, married himself, kept creeping by, doing favors and talking to my wife. I didn't like him, not from day one. But over the years my wife gave me plenty to be jealous about, just a flirty woman, who seemed to lack empathy for anyone, most of all me. I learned to ignore it, learned to live my own life and not worry about her. I trusted her, I respected her. Maybe, our son not being perfect in her eyes really did a number on her. Or perhaps, she was a serial cheater all 15 years, hard to say. The last year we were together was terrible. She lied constantly, was over the top and mean to me. She became physically abusive. She constantly wanted to have sex, to the point it was a chore. This continued till the day she left me and my son. Late one night she disappeared. I called her and the neighbor jointly admitted to an affair on speakerphone to me. They asked me to come over to discuss it, so I hung up. My world shattered. I didn't know it then, but it was all just beginning. She tormented me, they tormented me. The neighbor's wife was long gone after discovering the affair, she didn't tell me. Hindsight, I am glad she didn't. They flaunted their affair to the world. Humiliated me in front of my family. She wouldn't leave me alone. One evil deed after another. She did awful things, and recorded my reactions to use against me in court. Thankfully I kept it together. I began mercilessly fighting her legally. I pulled every favor, spared no expense, and I didn't let up. The old me would have pulled back, gave her a chance to apologize and walk away. But in the face of such maltreatment I kept the pressure on. Being married for so long to someone so vicious, well, I learned a thing or two. My opener wasn't as shocking as hers, yet, she won't forget it. I still remember her staring at me mouth open after the police served her with a restraining order. I didn't stop, motion after motion, until she pleaded with me to stop. I didn't. I would stay up all night untangling 15 years of lies. Fuming. Then I would call my lawyer first thing in the morning. She loved to compare paychecks when we were married. Her salary was upwards of 3 times mine. She loved to control my spending, loved to remind me how insignificant my paychecks were. During the divorce she was oddly silent about her income. Strangely she suddenly was fired, and suddenly had to take a job making less than half what she used to. Such a fun game to play. Sadly for her, judges don't like games. The money came in starts and jaggers at first. Then a steady stream of cash from mom rained in as ordered by the courts. I didn't know what to do with it. I had been scraping by so long, literally searching for quarters on my couch. Many times I called my family in tears asking for money so I wouldn't lose the house. Her money. All that money. The storm started to break for my son and I. I couldn't move from the marital home. I didn't have the energy, the time, the money, and my stubbornness ultimately kept me next door. Eventually the situation seemed to normalize. The weight of the emotional devastation started to slow them down. No lively BBQs, no exotic trips, no smiles, they took to hiding away. No longer proud of what they did. She missed her son. I needed a break. My son needed his mom. I agreed to 50-50 custody. My first week solo, I didn't crumple into a ball and cry. I went out into the world like a parolee, everything seemed so interesting. People seemed so nice. I had only been to work and back home for over a year, always caring for someone. Solo, everything seemed so easy. I started to feel a fleeting sense of being normal again. I realized if this awful person that is my ex-wife could keep to this, my life would be better too. I lowered my sword, I began working with her for my own best interest. The divorce decree was finally issued a week ago after 2 gut-wrenching years. I saw their for sale sign up yesterday. They are finally moving. I laughed when I saw it, the same way I laughed when they called me to tell me about the affair. I laughed because it was finally over. My darkest days were nearing their end. It worked out for me. I take better care of myself, I cook, I clean, I read, I hunt, hike, climb, and ski. I fish, I listen to new music. I built a support structure that is now like a family. I excelled at work, and lastly, I am starting a relationship with someone new. I lost a lot, but I gained so much more. Anyhow, that's my story. Well, most of it. The last chapters of the saga have yet to be written. Hang in there, friends. Be strong. Be kind to yourself. Meet them where they are at, not where you want them to be. Thanks for reading. As a dad with 2 sons with ASD, I can relate to how draining it can be sometimes and how much pressure it puts on a relationship. As horrible as your ex-wife was to you, I hope there is a special wing in hell to handle how she dealt with your son. Thank you. Yeah, it was extremely difficult for us. I did find support groups to help me single parent my son. I chalk it up to a mental breakdown. She seems to care now. Maybe the guilt got to her, maybe paying full child support did, who knows. I am always ready to be a full-time dad again. I would not be surprised if one day I go to the exchange location and she is simply not there. And that's it. You always being there for your son in the middle of such turmoil shows you are a really good person. I hope this new relationship works out for you. You deserve it. Good for you, brother, you made it out. You are a success story. Before I met my wife, I had been cheated on multiple times. What it boils down to this: apparently I did not respect myself. My grandma told me I need to establish standards for myself and have self-respect and dignity. Thanks to grandma, I met a really wonderful woman and I've been happy for 9 years with her. That's great to hear. I was really young when I got married. I cannot be held accountable for my 18-year-old self. Haha, that's what I tell myself anyways. I think when I stopped being a doormat, she started shopping. She didn't have to go far. Haha. Good luck, man. Rooting for you. Well done. I began mercilessly fighting her legally. I pulled every favor, spared no expense, and I didn't let up. The old me would have pulled back, gave her a chance to apologize and walk away. But in the face of such maltreatment, I kept the pressure on. Being married for so long to someone so vicious, well, I learned a thing or two. My opener wasn't as shocking as hers, yet, she won't forget it. I still remember her staring at me mouth open after the police served her with a restraining order. I didn't stop, motion after motion, until she pleaded with me to stop. I didn't. No mercy with a person like your ex-wife until you break them utterly. Thanks. I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy it. But it was all bittersweet. Anger like that can't be sustained. I just lost my will to keep it up eventually and ceded some ground. But oh boy, for a while there she had to be thinking, what kind of monster did I awaken? Mighty Neighbourly. How do I explain my situation to a new romantic interest? Advice: my wife of 15 years abruptly left me and my son in the middle of the night for a neighbor. She moved in with him. Drained our joint bank accounts. I was in shock. On my knees for a bit. But I pulled it together and began my struggle against my new neighbor. She attacked me legally, devastating me financially, tormented me emotionally, slandered me as emotionally abusive. I stood strong, I fought and continue to fight. I am still here. She is close. Next door. I still have the castle. I am in the marital home. I am not a psychopath, so I am extremely nervous about starting a new causal relationship, but it has been 2 years. Nothing is final. I have to drop my son off with the neighbors now. It's tough. Some days are better than others. I don't speak to her. I don't even look at her. I don't want her back. I rarely see her. I stand proud in my yard, have people over, while they hide away. There is someone interested in me. This new woman knows nothing other than I am divorced. Which isn't quite true. I didn't tell her that, but also didn't correct her when she said it. I like her, am interested, but it's a mess. I can go whole days, even weeks, without talking about it. The house has been scrubbed, any sign of my soon-to-be ex-wife deleted. I am in the best shape of my life, and I was helped financially from my support structure and have no debt. I am getting by all right. House is spotless, truck squeaky clean. I see a therapist 2 times a week. Now we talk about climbing mountains and the weather. My therapist says I have adjusted to my new reality and that we can cut back on the sessions as there isn't much to talk about. Trying to illustrate that I am feeling like I might be ready for someone new. How do I explain all this nonsense? I hate talking about it with women. I hate being pitied. I want to move on, move forward. What will a woman think when they hear this story? I feel like I will be viewed as damaged goods. I wasn't weak. I handled it all with dignity and maturity. I want to communicate that to women, but I have trouble talking about it. I can't meet my eyes when I speak about it. I am very ashamed. Since I look away when I speak about it, I am worried I appear dishonest. I am really just disgusted by the whole thing, and ashamed that I was such poor judge of character. I told everyone, our community isn't that big. I told gas station employees, neighbors, family, friends, babysitters, teachers, a guy from State Farm. I even told my dog. He was devastated. Point being, it's possible a woman I am interested in already knows. Too soon comments and all that, like I get that. But you don't stop driving after being in a car accident. I want to try. I am very tired of being pitied. I have my confidence back, and I want to try. Even if I don't try now and wait another year till this is all final, I still have to explain who is next door. My son has special needs, which makes moving away a very difficult option. Any dating advice for a betrayed dude like me I would appreciate. Tell me you've changed the locks. Haha, 2 years ago. Things were really bad right when I found out. She was unhinged. I think she's better now. But yes, cameras and changed locks. A lot of people definitely do not want to date folks who are still married in the eyes of the law. Ethically speaking, you should correct your potential girlfriend's view of your actual marital status, just by saying something brief like, "Hey, I just want to make something clear here because I really value honesty as we get to know each other better. My divorce still isn't final. Unfortunately, my child's mother is dragging things out. Hopefully our judge will sign the final decree sometime before 2023. Try not to worry so much about being pitied, because being abandoned with your child is a very solid and legitimate reason to be getting divorced. The blame's not on you. Clearly your soon-to-be ex has character issues. Hang in there. Radical honesty is a good goal to work towards with romantic prospects. Thanks for the feedback. Seems there's a common thread here, that she needs to know I am going through a long divorce. I don't think she needs to know too much initially. All she needs to know is you are divorced, and you feel you're now in a place to slowly start to build some connection with others, and would like to take it slow to ensure that you're doing the right thing by you and her. If she asks too many questions initially, I would say I'm trying to keep that in the past, and look at the opportunities in my future, and I'm excited to know more about you. It's likely that if/when your relationship gets serious, she may be more curious about the prior marriage, but initially it doesn't need to be dealt with on a deeper level. Always remind her it was an unhappy experience and you would like to create more happy experiences going forward. Always frame any responses in a positive light. All she needs to know is you are divorced. Accept the divorce isn't finalized and that matters to some people. She has a right to know she's getting involved with a man who is still technically married. I didn't entertain the thought of even hooking up with someone until the fat lady sang. You do not want to do that until divorce is final because, technically you will be an adulterer too and that can have a negative impact in your divorce settlement. My divorce is nuked. We destroyed each other. My estranged wife doesn't care about me and I've learned to really like that quality in her. I will tell my new interest that I am not technically divorced. Or I'll just wait. I ain't in any rush. Solid advice, thank you. She hasn't asked anything about it. But I feel like it's coming. We volunteer at the same place and spend a lot of time together. I'll only let her know that the divorce is ongoing and likely not to end anytime soon. Why do you have to live next door? If you must, I would just be totally honest. I would acknowledge that the situation is not ideal. Whatever you do, don't say the I wasn't weak part. If it were me I would probably make a joke out of it, in the sense of, yeah, do you believe it? Type of way in my day-to-day stuff when it intrudes. First I would tell her in a serious way. I don't have to, it's going to be hard on my son to move. Busing, house is set up for him. That kind of stuff. Not impossible. But it's going to be tough. She claims they are moving. So I am kind of holding out for that. But yes, moving has been on my mind for 2 years. Didn't think divorce was going to drag on for this long. If only the neighbors were renting, and you found something that would get them evicted. In all seriousness, you could simply say to a new woman in your life the process of divorce wasn't amicable, let's leave it at that for now. Please remove the band-aid and move. Remove yourself from seeing them all the time. Your son will get over it, find a new place with a better room for him and let him help you to choose the new house. Let him personalize his room with paintings, posters, etc. This physical separation is going to happen sooner or later. Don't worry about how your ex see this, your mental health is the most important. You should definitely sell your marital home. It's the plan. But due to my son's special needs, I need to make major changes to a house. Furthermore, I have to be in the same busing district as my estranged wife, so my purchasing options are severely limited. We have moved to 50-50 custody now, week on and a week off. Lastly, there's the money factor. I am not poor, but I don't have a lot of capital to make major renovations to a house, ramps and modifying doorways. I already did that here. Eventually I will move, right now it would be very difficult. Are you on SI? I feel like I have read this story. First time posting anything about it for me. The full story is pretty bad. I don't like reliving it. The first thing would be to be honest with your new lady friend. Give her the facts and let her decide. You might be surprised that she will not only appreciate your honesty, but will respect you for it. Finish the divorce proceedings and don't let your ex have any more control over your life. Don't be apprehensive about moving on with your life. While I understand the awkward nature of her living next door, she chose to move next door with her AP, and to act heinously. She is out of the marriage. Reclaim your life and live it. I wish you the best. I've been told to move. To concede to her demands. One of which is to move. I stubbornly have held my ground. I want to fade away from this awful place, but nothing has been up for sale that meets my needs in my price range. So I stay, for now, till something comes on the market suitable for my son and I just got to hang on a little longer, it will work out. Meanwhile, I think I am ready to take a chance with someone I've known for a year already. Someone who is kind, genuine and makes me feel good. I'll just tell her all of it. And if she is spooked and pulls away, well, I've certainly been through worse. Ha ha. Thank you for the kind words. This page pulled me from the brink many times. I've been through hell. We hope that by sharing these stories with interested folks like you, we can help people recognize the signs of a relationship in trouble, and avoid so many of these heartbreaking situations yourselves. Have a good day or night, wherever you are.